learners, welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be talking about a very special topic.
That's right. This topic was actually suggested by one of our listeners.
Exactly. So keep those comments coming because we want to create lessons that you need, that you want.
Exactly.
So what are we talking about today?
Today's lesson is about applying for a visa.
A very, very important topic.
Yes, and specifically, it's about a visa interview.
Exactly. As you all probably know, when you apply for a visa, especially for the US, you have an interview.
Yes.
Where you have to answer some questions.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before we jump into the dialogue, let's take a look at vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, so let's talk about visa.
Right. A visa, it's not a credit card.
No, not Visa or MasterCard.
No. So a visa is an official document that you get in your passport that allows you to travel legally to a country.
Exactly. So with this document, you can go into a country. Okay, so we have different types of visas. Today we're going to be talking about a B2 visa.
Right. A B2 visa is a tourist visa.
A tourist visa.
Yeah.
This is only for the United States. Other countries may have different classifications for their visas, but B2 is for the United States.
Right. So Marco, we use a tourist visa when we want to be a tourist and just travel in the US. What about a resident visa?
Well, you can have a temporary resident visa. Like, for example, an F1.
Yep.
An F1 is for foreign exchange students who go and live in the States maybe for a year or do a MBA for 2 years or 3 years. So that's an F1 visa. You can also get a J1 visa, which is a temporary exchange visitor.
Okay.
So it could be to maybe do some temporary work for 2 or 3 months and then go back to your country.
So basically, a resident visa allows you to live in that country.
Yeah, you can live in that country legally for a determined time. Okay, so let's listen to our dialogue. Where are we going to be exactly?
In this dialogue, we're going to hear two people, a visa officer and a person who's applying for the visa. Now, the person who's applying for the visa has an accent, right?
Yes.
But this is really good practice for helping you to understand people with different accents.
Exactly. So let's listen to the dialogue and then we'll come back and explain all the great vocabulary.
So you're applying for a B2 visa. Where's your final destination and what's the purpose of your trip to the United States?
I'm going to visit my brother. He's just had a baby. He lives in Minneapolis.
And how long do you plan to remain in the United States?
I'll be here for approximately 3 weeks. So here's my return ticket for the 26th of March.
And who's sponsoring your trip?
My brother. Here. This is an invitation letter from him. I will stay with him and his family in their home.
All right. Tell me about the ties you have to your home country.
Well, I own a house. Actually, I'm leaving my dog there with my neighbors. I have a car at home. And my job? I'm employed by Tornell as an engineer. Actually, I only have 3 weeks vacation, so I have to go back to work at the end of March.
And what evidence do you have that you are financially independent?
Well, I do have assets in my country. Like I said, I own a house, and see, here's a bank statement showing my investments and my bank balance.
I'm sorry, sir. We cannot grant you a B2 visa at this time. Instead, you are granted a resident visa. Congratulations! You are the millionth person to apply for a visa. You win! Congratulations!
All right, what a lucky guy. He applied for a tourist visa and now he's getting a resident visa.
Yeah, that's great. But does this really happen,
No.
Marco?
No, that would never happen at a consulate.
Okay, well, we can dream that this might happen for us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's take a look at the words in language takeaway today.
Language takeaway.
All right, on language takeaway, we have sponsoring.
Sponsoring. So,
Erica, what does it mean to sponsor somebody?
When you sponsor somebody for a visa, you take care of them and make sure they have enough money.
Okay.
So you are the one who's responsible for all of their expenses and making sure they just have enough money.
Okay. So for example, when I was 16, I made a trip to another country.
Yep.
And my parents were my sponsors.
So they took responsibility for your money.
Exactly. Okay. Let's look at our next word. Invitation letter.
Invitation letter.
Invitation letter.
Invitation letter.
Now, this is a really important part for a visa application.
Yes, very important.
What is an invitation letter?
Well, an invitation letter is a formal letter that a friend or a relative or maybe a business writes to ask you to come to their country.
Exactly. So you're being invited for a specific purpose to the United States.
Yeah, and you have to give this letter to the visa officer.
Okay. Invitation letter. Our next word. Ties.
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 Looks exactly like tie, like the one you wear in your suit.
Not quite the same though.
All right, so what are ties?
The ties you have to your country are the things that keep you attached to your country.
Okay.
That make sure that you will return to your country.
Okay, so what are some examples of ties?
Like maybe a house or a wife or a child or maybe some money in your bank account.
Okay.
Or a job even.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, a good way to think of this is imagine like a rope that's attached to you and tying you to your country, to your house, to your job, to your kids.
Okay, so you can't run away.
Exactly.
Okay, that was clear, but let's listen to some more examples of how we would use ties.
Example 1.
I sold my house and closed my bank account. I don't have any more ties to my home country.
Example 2.
Alvin enjoyed being single. He wasn't ready for the ties of family life.
Example 3.
Diplomatic relations have improved, and the ties between the two countries are stronger.
All right, it's clear now. Let's look at our next word. Financially independent.
Financially independent.
Financially independent.
Financially independent.
So that means that you don't need anyone.
That you have enough money.
You have enough money for yourself.
Right. So you don't have to ask your parents to pay for your ticket or pay for your food or whatever.
Okay. And our last word for today. Assets.
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 Okay, so your assets are kind of like your ties.
Right. There are things of value that you own, things that are expensive that you own in your home country.
So it would be a house,
Yep.
a car,
Yep. Maybe stocks or investments.
Okay, so all of those things are your assets. Okay, so we've seen a lot of great words, and I think it's time for us to listen to our dialogue again. We're going to slow it down for you.
Yeah, this will help you understand it a little bit better.
So, you're applying for a B2 visa. Where is your final destination, and what is the purpose of your trip to the United States?
I'm going to visit my brother. He's just had a baby. He lives in Minneapolis.
And how long do you plan to remain in the United States?
I'll be here for approximately 3 weeks. See, here's my return ticket for the 26th of March.
And who is sponsoring your trip?
My brother. Here. This is an invitation letter from him. I'll stay with him and his family in their home.
All right. Tell me about the ties you have to your home country.
Well, I own a house. Actually, I'm leaving my dog there with my neighbors. I have a car at home and my job. I'm employed by Tornell as an engineer. Actually, I only have 3 weeks vacation, so I have to go back to work at the end of March.
And what evidence do you have that you are financially independent?
Well, I do have assets in my country. Like I said, I own a house. And see, here's a bank statement showing my investments and my bank balance.
I'm sorry, sir. We cannot grant you a B2 visa at this time. Instead, You are granted a resident visa. Congratulations! You are the millionth person to apply for a visa. You win! Congratulations!
Yay!
Okay, today we're not going to do our regular toolkit like Fluency Builder or putting it together.
No, we're going to do something a little bit different today.
We're going to talk about the questions you will probably be asked at an interview for a U.S. visa.
Yes.
And the useful language that you can use to answer these questions in a good way. Okay, so let's take a look at our first question.
Where is your final destination, and what is the purpose of your trip to the United States? Where is your final destination, and what is the purpose of your trip to the United States?
So this is probably going to be the first question the interviewer is going to ask you.
Yeah, so Marco, I know you have a lot of experience with U.S. visas. How should we answer this question?
Well, it depends on what you're doing, right?
Right.
So if you're a tourist, you would say, I'm going on vacation to New York or anywhere. Also, if you're visiting a family member, like in our dialogue, you would say, oh, I'm going to visit my sister or my brother or my cousin. If you're applying for a business visa, then you would say, oh, I'm going to visit a company or etc.
Right.
So you just have to say why you are going to the States.
Now, is it important to be really specific?
Yeah, the more specific you are, it's probably better. So if you can name the state and the city where you're going, it's much better.
Okay. All right. Well, let's listen to our next question.
How long do you plan to remain in the United States? How long do you plan to remain in the United States?
Okay, so this is a really important question also because in your application, you have to put how long you plan to stay in the U.S.
Right.
It's a pretty straightforward answer. 2 months, 1 month, 3 weeks.
Right. But you just have to make sure that your answer matches
what's written in your application form.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, now let's take a look at our last question.
Tell me about the ties you have to your home country. Tell me about the ties you have to your home country.
Well, I think this is maybe the most important question that they'll ask you, right?
Yeah, this is the most important question. This is what the interviewer is most interested in.
Okay, so why is he interested in this?
Because he has to be sure that you will not become an illegal immigrant to the United States.
So that you will return to your home country.
Exactly. He or she has to be convinced that you're going to return to your home country.
So how can you convince him?
Basically by demonstrating your ties.
So showing the things that will pull you back to your home country.
So if you take documents to support this, bank statements, maybe a copy of your mortgage.
Yep, like maybe your wedding certificate.
I don't know, even a letter from your office, from your job.
So that shows that you have to return to your work.
The more things you bring, the better, even though the interviewer might not ask for the documents.
Okay, it's better to be safe, right?
Exactly.
So come with a huge file full of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had friends who've arrived to the embassy with a huge file of documents and weren't asked to show any of the documents.
All right.
But other interviewers will maybe ask for it. Okay, so now let's listen to the dialogue again.
And you'll hear how our traveler answers these questions.
So you're applying for a B2 visa. Where's your final destination, and what's the purpose of your trip to the United States?
I'm going to visit my brother. He's just had a baby. He lives in Minneapolis.
And how long do you plan to remain in the United States?
I'll be here for approximately 3 weeks. So here's my return ticket for the 26th of March.
And who's sponsoring your trip?
My brother. Here. This is an invitation letter from him. I will stay with him and his family in their home.
All right. Tell me about the ties you have to your home country.
Well, I own a house. Actually, I'm leaving my dog there with my neighbors. I have a car at home. And my job? I'm employed by Tornell as an engineer. Actually, I only have 3 weeks vacation, so I have to go back to work at the end of March.
And what evidence do you have that you are financially independent?
Well, I do have assets in my country. Like I said, I own a house, and see, here's a bank statement showing my investments and my bank balance.
I'm sorry, sir. We cannot grant you a B2 visa at this time. Instead, you are granted a resident visa. Congratulations. You are the millionth person to apply for a visa. You win. Congratulations.
Well, I hope this was a useful lesson for all of our listeners, because I'm sure that in one point or another, in the future, you're going to apply for a visa. So now you know all the language that you need to more or less answer all these questions that you're going to be asked.
Yes. And Marco, I'm sure that people have already applied for visas for the US, right?
Probably, yeah.
And I want to hear from our users any stories that they have about applying for a visa.
Yeah, that would be great. I know that I have some stories to share on the comments board. And we want to hear your questions and comments and any suggestions.
So visit our website at englishpod.com, and Marco and I will be there to respond to you and answer your questions. Well, everyone, thanks for listening, and until next time, goodbye.
Hi, Mark. I heard you're planning a trip to Canada next month. That sounds exciting, but it also means you need to start your visa application as soon as possible. Many people wait too long and then feel stressed when the deadline comes close. So tell me, have you already checked the requirements on the official immigration website?
Hi, Anna. Yes, I visited the website, but honestly, it was a little confusing for me. There are so many forms, lists, links, and instructions. I'm not sure which form is for tourists and which one is for students. I also don't know how many documents I'm supposed to upload. It feels like I might miss something important.
That's completely normal. These websites can look complicated at first, especially for someone applying for a visa for the very first time. The good thing is that once you understand the system, everything becomes easier. For a tourist visa, you need to fill out the main application form called the Visitor Visa Application. It asks for your personal information, your passport details, your travel plans, and the reason for your visit.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I found that form, but I didn't open it yet. I thought it might take too long, so I wanted to ask someone who already has experience. What kind of personal information do they usually want? Do they ask very private questions?
Not really. They ask for basic information, your full name, your date of birth, your nationality, your passport number, and your travel dates. Then there are a few standard questions about your job, your income, your education, and your previous travel history. They want to make sure you are a responsible traveler who will return to your home country after your visit.
I see. I can answer those easily. But I'm worried about the documents. Some friends told me I need bank statements, and some said I need hotel reservations. Then someone else said I need a travel itinerary. It's hard to know which one is actually necessary.
Let me make it simple for you. Almost every embassy wants these basic documents. Your passport with at least 6 months of validity. A passport-size photo with a white background. 3. Bank statements from the last 3 to 6 months. Your travel plan, which includes your flight dates and where you plan to stay. 5. If you are visiting someone, you might need a letter of invitation, but that doesn't apply to you since you're traveling as a tourist.
Great. I can prepare most of those. My bank statements are ready, and my passport is valid for more than a year. But I don't have flight tickets yet. Do I need to buy them before getting the visa?
No. You should never buy the actual ticket before your visa is approved. You only need a reservation, not a purchase ticket. Many travel agencies give free or low-cost flight reservations for visa applications. It's just to show the embassy that you have a planned trip.
That's helpful. I didn't know that. Another thing I'm confused about is the explanation letter. Do I really need to write one? If yes, what should I mention?
Yes. Writing a short explanation letter is very helpful, especially for first-time travelers. In the letter, clearly explain why you want to visit the country, how long you plan to stay, what you will do during your trip, and that you will return to your home country because of your job, family, or responsibilities. A clear letter can make the visa officer more confident about your intentions.
Okay, I'll write that tonight, but I still feel nervous. What if I make a small mistake in the form? Will they reject my visa?
Don't worry too much. Small typing mistakes are okay as long as the main information is correct. Just take your time. Read each question carefully. Most people get approved if their documents are complete and honest.
Anna, thanks for explaining everything earlier. After our conversation, I actually went home and started filling out the visa form. It took me almost 2 hours, but I managed to complete most of it. Some parts were easy, but a few questions were a bit confusing for me, especially the one about my travel history. I wasn't sure how detailed I needed to be.
Good job starting the form. The travel history part is important, but you don't need to overthink it. Just list the countries you've visited in the last 10 years, the purpose of your visit, and the approximate dates if you remember them. They don't expect perfect memory, just honest and clear information.
All right, that's a relief. I listed the countries I've been to, like Turkey and the UAE. Another question asked whether I have ever been refused a visa. Luckily, I haven't. But I wonder, if someone has been refused a visa before, does it affect their new application?
It can affect it, but only if the person hides the truth. The embassy already has access to past visa records, so if someone says no when they were actually refused before, that's a serious problem. But if they answer honestly and explain the reason, it usually won't be a big issue. Honesty is really important in visa applications.
That makes sense. Now about the documents, I uploaded my passport scans and my bank statements, but I wasn't sure how to upload my hotel reservation. Should it be a PDF or a photo?
PDF is better because it looks more official and is easier for the visa officer to read. If you have it as a photo, it's okay too, but PDF is the safer option. Make sure everything is clear and not blurry. Embassies reject a lot of applications because of unreadable documents.
I'll convert it into PDF then. Another thing I saw at the end of the application was a message telling me I need to give biometrics. I've never done that before. Is it difficult?
Not at all. Biometrics simply means they take your fingerprints and a digital photo. It usually takes only 10 to 15 minutes. After you submit your application and pay the fee, they will send you a confirmation letter. You print that letter and take it to the visa center on your appointment day.
Do I need to prepare anything for the appointment?
Just your passport, the confirmation letter, and your appointment paper. That's all. You don't even need to dress formally. It's not an interview, it's just a technical step.
That's good to know. After biometrics, how long do I wait for the result?
The processing time depends on the season and how busy the embassy is. Sometimes it takes 1 week, sometimes 3 or even 4 weeks. You just have to be patient. But you can check your application status online anytime.
I really hope everything goes smoothly. I've already imagined my trip, visiting museums, walking around the city, taking photos, and enjoying the food. I just don't want a mistake in the application to ruin everything.
If your documents are complete and your answers are honest, you're already ahead of many applicants. Most refusals happen because people lie, or they don't provide enough documents, or they rush and forget something important. You're doing everything carefully, so don't stress too much.
Thanks, Anna. You've really made this whole process easier. I'll finish uploading the remaining documents tonight and then submit the application. I guess the next step after that will be waiting.
Exactly. And remember, if they need anything else, they'll email you. Just keep checking your inbox so you don't miss any updates. I'm sure you'll get the visa without any problems.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Stay. Remain. An amount that is almost but not exact. Approximately. Someone who takes the responsibility for a person applying for a visa. Sponsor. A formal letter asking a person to come to a place. Invitation letter. Responsibility that links a person to a place or a thing. Tie. Something that shows the thing is true. Evidence. Have enough money to live alone. Do not need help with money. Financially independent. Things that are worth money that you own. Assets. Let you have something. Grant. A person whose job is to interview people for visas. Visa officer. An official document that allows you to live in a country. Resident permit. Embassy. A piece of paper you have to put information on to make a formal request. Application form.
Let's try that faster.
Let you have something. Grant. Have enough money to live alone. Do not need help with money. Financially independent. A person whose job is to interview people for visas. Visa officer. Someone who takes the responsibility for a person applying for a visa. Sponsor. Embassy. An official document that allows you to live in a country. Resident permit. Something that shows the thing is true. Evidence. A formal letter asking a person to come to a place. Invitation letter. Responsibility that links a person to a place or a thing. Tie. Stay. Remain. Things that are worth money that you own. Assets. An amount that is almost but not exact. Approximately. A piece of paper you have to put information on to make a formal request. Application form.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Sponsor. Nike is sponsoring our sports team. Sponsor. If you apply for a visa to another country, you must have someone who can sponsor you and guarantee that you have enough money. Sponsor. My father sponsored my visa application. Tie. I sold my house and closed my bank account. I don't have any more ties to my home country. Tie. Alvin enjoyed being single. He wasn't ready for the ties of family life. Tie. Diplomatic relations have improved and the ties between the two countries are stronger. Evidence. The evidence shows that this man is guilty. Evidence. The bank needs evidence that you own a car or house. Evidence. The police are searching the house for evidence that can help them find the criminal. So you have no house, no car, no investments, and no money at all. In fact, you have no assets. The total value of the company's assets is more than $1 billion. We have about $100,000 in assets. Grant. My college granted me a scholarship for being a good student. Grant. The genie of the magic lamp told me that he will grant me 3 wishes. Grant. He was granted a medal for fighting in the war.